That's fine. You can leave that off.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another. This is like a mega episode, I guess, of the podcast here, College Football Uncensored, brought to you by Saturday Down South. What is our plan?
So, the plan, we were talking about doing a live stream. It's just been too difficult to like connect with so many different people because everyone's doing the same thing.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, we could have still done it probably. What I was worried about is if we did the live stream like at the very start or 7:45, 7:30 if it starts at 8, there was going to be so many guests and so much dead air. Like it would have been a nightmare to like try to edit afterwards. So we've got a couple guests that might drop in. Got Duke, what do you call it? Phil Dukes from Auburn 247, big also Atlanta Falcons guy. Nice. Producer Dan's probably going to stop by. We got a couple people. Good Lord, what a suit. Who's that?
Wow, this draft has been crazy so far, huh?
Yeah, it has. So what's up, Jay? Yeah, welcome in everyone. We are live. It is 9:00 Thursday night Eastern time. First round, we're 6 picks in. They're about to make the 7th. Only 2. So they've only had picks from the Big Ten and the SEC so far, 3 and 3. Yep. We've had 3 quarterbacks taken or 4?
Richardson, Stroud, and Bryce.
Yeah. But it's been
Levis,
wild.
They said Levis might slide like real far now.
Because everything's so like everything's gonna be based off of team needs and stuff. But I don't think I've ever seen a time where somebody has traded back up immediately like these like they have this year. This is crazy.
All right, the pick is in. We got Raiders. Who do you think it is, Chris? Tell me.
I don't know what they need.
Levis looks concerned, to say the least.
It's not going to be anybody from Bama because I don't think Bama players, especially receivers, are allowed to go to Vegas anymore. After all the
oh my God, what's wrong with this guy?
Who are you ahead of me?
Are you? What channel are you watching?
ESPN.
Oh, I'm on NFL Network, and I'm not streaming. I'm on a satellite, so I am ahead of you.
Okay, well don't say anything.
Okay. I can't say anything.
I mean, you can.
I want to ruin it.
I know you do.
Pick is in.
It's been in.
Do you know that?
Also, like the Panthers, like Chris Gordy brought this up on a couple episodes ago, and it's a fantastic point. What are we doing at the start? Like at the start of the draft, like you've had months to prepare. Yeah,
it's every year though. It's like I don't know if they like give the prospect a moment to like celebrate before they make the pick or what, but yeah, it's so weird. It's a waste of time.
Also this year was kind of wild for a minute because they talked to Bryce Young's dad and he says, yeah, QB could be the pick here. Right? Because I think right now they have Jared.
No, they got Jimmy G. So unless it was Richardson, maybe they would pick him, but I don't think they're gonna go Levis here, do you?
I don't know. I mean, Levis is it's kind of crazy also that a Reddit thing was like responsible for draft odds plummeting from 4,000 to 400.
There's been a lot of weird shit that Reddit has created. Remember GameStop?
Yeah, that was fun.
At least you don't have to eat a pair of jeans.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know,
that's the plus.
Nightmare for a minute. Also, like screw you because I went to you as my co-host and friend to back me up because I said like basically a year ago I was so dumbfounded about the fact that Will Levis might be even a first round.
Here we go.
All right, hold on.
Can you hear anything in the background? Ooh, here we go.
So Tyree Wilson, DN from Texas Tech. That is the pick from Oakland.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
So now this one's interesting for us, obviously, because we're both from Atlanta, and also I know this.
So Jalen Carter's available for the Falcons.
You have to go take him.
Is it? I swear to God, like, is he just that bad of a person off the field?
No,
I don't get
no.
it.
I mean, he had a.
Clearly he is. Why is everybody passing him?
I'm not going to get into this because I can't handle. I mean, I don't have the same following ever since I got suspended on Twitter. So like, I could deal with it, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with I don't think he's a bad person. I think he made a bad mistake. All right, so we should bring in.
No. But that aside, I've heard there's like rumors that he's like wasn't the best practice guy. Like, I mean, granted, all that matters is if you perform on Saturdays and in this case Sundays, but something has to be wrong for him to not be picked yet. And
do you think
so I'm watching NFL Network. Ian Rappaport came on and said that there's two players that the board basically sets up poorly for right now, and it was Levis because the Colts didn't take him, and then it was Jalen Carter. He said if the Raiders don't pick him, then he's going to have a slide outside the top 10.
I mean, I don't know. Player in the draft, though. All right. Also, is there less time this year on the clock? Is it 8 minutes instead of 10?
Hope so. There's no reason to have that much time.
Well, I don't know.
You've been doing draft prep for literally the entire last year. If the Falcons take Will Levis, I'm going to jump off the deck to my death.
It can't happen.
I will.
It can't happen.
I will tell you right now, if the Falcons take Will Levis, I'll eat a pair of jeans.
So that was the bet I said a year ago. I was like, I would eat a pair of jeans if Will Levis went number 1 overall because I thought it was ridiculous. And then like 2 days ago, we see that his somebody leaked on Reddit and it was like he's telling his friends and family he's going to go number 1 overall, and I was like kind of freaked out. And then I told you, I was like, hey man, there's no fucking way. All right, if you
oh my God, I am so nervous about what the Falcons. I feel like the Falcons always do something I don't want.
Also, shout out to Jalen Carter for wearing like my favorite Easter themed suit of all time.
Well, they've been linked to Christian Gonzalez a lot. Yeah. Oh God, the pick is in.
Oh no!
Oh no! I think I'd be the most disappointed with Christian Gonzalez, to be honest, and it's probably gonna be him.
Okay, so I have not. So we got some comments going. This is good. This is good.
He is.
If you're joining us live, or if you are listening to this on the recorded version, sorry for jumping all over the place. We probably should have thrown in something at the very beginning. But basically, all right, hold on. Let me mute Tyler. So basically, we are going to do this for probably about like an hour or so. We got a couple of interviews coming up, and then we'll get into some of the other news and notes around college football. This is the worst. Pepper says hello.
Pepper, let's calm it down, guys. Hopefully, so I saw Jeff Rollins in the chat here said the Hawks are tied. That's great. So I saw they were down 12-2 to open the game. What is everybody's team? So if you're in the chat right now, I see there's 42 people in here, which is awesome. What are y'all's favorite teams? Let's get it going. So I'm the Falcons. I don't know that Chris has one. Chris, you're like a Patriots fan?
No, I'm a Falcons fan.
No, you're not. You're not a real Falcons fan.
What does that mean?
I feel like you're a Patriots fan.
I'm not a Patriots fan.
Okay, that's good. All right, you're a Falcons fan then. That's good.
2015.
Blake's a Bears fan. Corey Wood is a Patriots fan. All right, like if the Falcons seriously this is going to ruin the night if they pick Christian Gonzalez.
I don't think that would ruin the night. What would ruin the night is if they
pick Will Levis.
I was hoping they would jump in and take what do you call it? Nolan Smith early. I don't want to take Bijan Robinson, even though I know we need a running back.
Yeah.
But I would much rather have them take
By the way, don't look at Twitter, by the way, because it's who's breaking the news before the draft happens?
Schefter.
No, Shams.
Who? What is that?
The NBA guy.
That sucks.
I know. It's like, what are you doing?
I don't like that at all.
So I've been trying to stay off Twitter because it's literally ruining every pick. And chat, you don't ruin it either. Oh my god, what's going? Oh no, I think the pick's been made. Everyone's upset in the chat. It doesn't seem good.
They're not gonna take the kid from.
Oh no, dude!
Don't say anything. Don't. Also, always happen when it's like Atlanta.
I can't look at the chat. I can't look at the chat.
Stop looking at the chat. Why does this always happen with Atlanta-based sports? Where it's like, all right, so we have 7 picks that are made. Now we have like the 8th pick. It's
just, not going to be Jalen Carter.
Just shut up. Don't say anything. Why did you get a commercial? Of course, like right when the Falcons are up. Like go like. All right, quiet.
Yeah, all right. I based on the chat, I'm not looking at it anymore, but a couple people lead me to believe. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to blow it for you, Chris.
That's all I'm asking you to do.
Come on, please don't be the person I think it is.
But also, I mean, so if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, like obviously we're live right now, but like the Falcons pick has been in for
like
there's 6 minutes left on the clock for the fucking Bears. Hurry up, Goodell. There's no way he's having any kind of meaningful conversation or engagement with the audience. This is
no. Everybody hates him there.
Oh no.
All right, I'm going to take off my headphones real quick while he announces this. Are these kids going to announce it? Great.
I don't know. This sucks.
Perfect.
This entire situation sucks.
I'm muting. Hold on.
This sucks. I hate this entire thing. Can you just fucking tell us what the pick is, Goodell?
Okay, guys, take it away. With the 8th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Bijan Robinson.
I fucking hate everything. That sucks.
Oh my god, dude!
Right,
Bijan.
The Falcons have taken Bijan Robinson.
Wow, dude! I'm not disappointed by that, by the way.
You know what I'm disappointed about? Like, and I genuinely mean this.
Wow, Bijan. They always go best player available.
No, they don't. They almost never do that.
No, this under the new regime, that's what they say. They always try to go best player available. I gotta think Jalen Carter's got some severe issues here.
I don't think that's true. All right, so Bijan Robinson. So I saw this the other day. Like, here's the positive of this pick. Bijan Robinson is a great running back. He has been a great running back. There's like the ups and downs of it. Obviously, it's because like when you take a running back in the first round in general, it's not like considered a great pick. We're going to see 2 running backs go in the first round tonight, though, because Jahmyr Gibbs is most likely going to go as well. But Bijan, or like, I think there was somebody that had a report the other day that was like that from either, what was it? It was not Action, but it was what is the stupid fucking site where you have to pay like $1 for or like $10 a month for it? Starts with an A.
OnlyFans?
No, that's way more than $10 a month.
The Athletic.
The Athletic. So the Athletic did a story about how since 1980, teams that have taken a first rounder in the top 10 have only made the Super Bowl, I think, 3 times with that team.
Really?
Bijan Robinson, according to some, I forgot exactly which draft guy it was because there's 1,000 of them, had Robinson as the number 1 overall available player in this draft.
I think a lot of people had him in the number 1 or 2. Daniel Jeremiah, I think.
Right.
Had him number 2 overall player.
He also had, like, in his time at Texas, He had 186, dude, 186 like forced or 180 something forced missed tackles. That was 60 more than the next closest person in what do you call it in college football in that same time frame. I don't know. I mean,
Wow, this is crazy. Yeah, I was a little worried they're going to draft Will Levis there. That could have been tough.
yeah, at least it wasn't Levis.
Yeah. No, I like Bijan, man, dude. They got him as the top overall player.
So let's get into the Jalen Carter stuff. And also, I've tried to do this like several times, and we could talk. So real quick, wait, are we so far behind now because the Falcons fucking boys and girls club moment that the next 2 picks are already in
Philly traded up.
to 9?
Yeah.
It's got to be Carter.
Yeah, you got to think Philly's going to take Carter.
I don't know how I feel. Like,
Wow, Bijan. Crazy.
yeah, check your phone, Tyler. Anyway, so like kind of shocked, I guess, in terms of the fact that I like we talked about last year going into the combine that there you had people talking about even then with all of the stuff going on with Georgia, which was like basically just like a recruiting commercial for the combine and the draft last year. That Carter was still the best player from that defense. I don't know how far he could slip. I don't think he slips farther than this. I still say he's the best player in the draft. And I don't think it's the NFL. So like off the field concerns, what are we even fucking talking about? Oh,
well, yeah. I think it could be potentially like work ethic, not necessarily like criminal behavior.
Somebody did say earlier that he's got like if you got off the field concerns or character issues and then on the field concerns, and I was like, hold on, you said like on the field? Like I don't think that is the case. So this is what's been going on. Like several people have mentioned this in the chat. This would be the obvious link here for Georgia fans, especially, is if he does go to Philadelphia here, that means Philadelphia would have him and Jordan Davis to run next to each other. So I don't know, dude.
They just NFL just compared him to LT Bijan with Danny Tomlinson.
Oh, I was like Lawrence Taylor. Okay, so we almost had somebody on the podcast this week, Carmen Vitale, who is a friend of mine. Her cousin's like one of my best friends. She works now in Chicago, does a lot of stuff at the NFL, and works closely with the Bears. And that was one of her big things. Was like, if Jalen Carter falls to 9, the Bears would have to take him. But also, the Bears GM, I think, is a former offensive lineman, so the kid from Northwestern is a logical pick there. What's up, James? James O'Quinn. It's been a long time, bud.
Yeah. Also, you got Broderick Jones and Darnell Wright there at tackle as well.
Yeah, that's also true. I think going into tonight, the over-under on where Broderick Jones would land was like 14.5. All right, so it looks like there's a lot of people that are saying they might just become an Eagles fan. Here we go. Here's the pick.
Yeah.
All right, so there's Jalen.
Wow. That's big, dude. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Nakobe Dean.
So, and like, I just didn't watch most of, what do you call it? I didn't watch most of the Eagles season until obviously the playoffs. But like, I don't feel like Dean or I know Davis's numbers weren't anything crazy, which is fine because this is his position. Anybody that knows better than me, like how much did either of them play or factor into last season. If you're an SEC fan, because like before this, there was rumors about how Derrick Henry might link up with them. They might trade to get him because of what AJ Brown tweeted. But you got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith at your receiver position. Now you've got 3 Georgia players at the core of that defense.
Jalen.
And also,
he's a Big 12 guy though.
Okay, so the thing too with I understand how people might have different feelings about Jalen Carter, but when you have not only do you have Carter, but you have 2 of the most likable UGA players in recent memory. God damn it, Pepper. With Nakobe Dean and what do you call it? Jordan Davis too. Hold on.
Yeah, that could end up being a steal for sure. Wow. A lot of dogs on the Eagles at this point. I could definitely see that coming back, being in 3 years, the Falcons fans being like, "Oh yeah, we drafted a running back when we could have had this dude who's just tearing up the NFL." Definitely see that happening.
I just don't. I mean, if you're a Falcons fan, you've had Cordarrelle Patterson being your main running back over the past couple of years, but Bijan better. He's got to be
Well, they had a rookie last year that went over 1,000 yards, Algier.
Right.
That's a nice little 1-2 punch. But I actually heard a pretty good anecdote. I think it was from Daniel Jeremiah. He said, "Look, if you're the Falcons and you're committed to Desmond Ridder as your QB, you're still kind of at a rebuilding state of your program, that you'd rather win games with offensive firepower to give your young QB confidence going into the second phase of your rebuild, rather than winning defensive battles and you got to move on from your QB."
True.
So he was of the opinion that they should take Bijan. So I would have loved Jalen. I'm excited about Bijan though. That's gonna be a fun player. I mean, the Falcons offense is gonna be fun. London, Pitts, Bijan, and
if
they need a second receiver.
Especially talk toys equals excitement. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. It is going to be obviously a more laid back episode. All right, Tyler, outside of the draft, let's talk about some of the other stuff that we're going to get to later in the episode, or maybe it'll be before, depending on how we break this thing up. But
you want to talk Buchner? You want to talk Buchner? Is that what you want, Chris?
I mean, I think we probably will talk about that regardless. Bama getting a quarterback in the portal. Not a super
the concerns were real, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I have one positive thing to say about it, and then I have a bunch of negative things to say about it. We can get to. We get. I'll finish up the deep dive on it before we actually air it. Then the other thing is stuff out in Colorado, obviously with Coach Prime and him losing everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
Like how big of a deal do you think that is?
Let's just see who he brings in the portal. There's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, he's going to stack up all this talent." Well, it's he got a couple of our players, and they were both would definitely been backups this year.
Right.
So it's I don't really think that you're really improving the roster considerably with those players, but it's clear that he's clearing out pretty much everybody except the guys he brought in.
Yeah,
essentially, and he's bringing in all new players, which kind of feels risky in year one. I mean, considering.
So, yeah, I mean they went 1-11. They were the worst team in college football, arguably, or probably were. They've lost 60 total people from last year to this year. Is what I saw it at.
That's just. I just feel like that's almost a harder way to build a culture. Maybe not. Maybe it's the easier way to just bring in all new guys and be like, "Look, this is a whole new team." What's that?
I said full clean slate. Sure. Maybe that is the move. I will say that they brought in 33 guys. They got a kid from Tennessee today. Like you said, they brought a couple guys in from from FSU. They were never, he kind of announced this kind of at the beginning. I think you're going to see like an overreach on either side, like from if you're defending it or if you're defending Prime, or if you are being super critical of it, because having 11 returning scholarship players feels like an issue, but I don't know how bad those players could have possibly been at what do you call it, at Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
I mean but it does feel like an issue.
Well, yeah. I mean, you saw the practice highlights. Jesus, looked like a middle school team out there.
There was one incident that came up. Hold on, the Bears pick is in.
God,
Darnell Wright. Holy shit. So Darnell Wright from Tennessee goes top 10.
Wow.
Ahead of the kid from Northwestern. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name.
Did I have that? Oh my God, I had that.
Did you bet on it?
Dude, so I'm in this pool with my brother-in-law who I'm watching the draft with, and a bunch of our buddies. And essentially, you do a mock draft, and then if you get the player right, it's 5 points. If you're within 1 of where they got drafted, it's 4. If you're within 2, and then whoever has the most points at the end gets it. So I had Darnell Wright to the Bears. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, he held Anderson in check. I know, to the much to the chagrin of Tennessee fans. I heard about it nonstop, and deservingly so. I mean, that was I remember tweeting that day. Like he made himself a lot of money the day they played Bama. A lot of money. So
Jalen Hyatt did too.
He did. Yeah, he did. I think that so that puts 5 out of the top 10 players from the SEC. I don't know. Like, I mean, you still have Roderick Jones. You still have Nolan Smith. I mean, I like that pick just because of the fact that I think that like that kid has been overlooked in a pretty tackle deep class like all year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
anyway.
Darnell Wright. Wow. So how many guys in the top 10 were SEC?
5.
Wow.
Not super crazy. So you got 5 from the SEC, 3 from the Big 10, 2 from the Big 12. So real quick, back to the Colorado thing. Like there was an issue with one player who tweeted out about like if anyone is trying to get my tape, or like anybody like in the portal is interested in like my film, I'm still trying to get it. Having an issue with Coach Prime not being able to like access my my tape.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you're trying to transfer, you should. I don't think there's any reason to deny that kid like tape, like for him just trying to like leave, which you probably are going to use him anyway, right? If like I understand from the coaching standpoint though, like why you're not going to be giving up practice film, just like out in the open to everybody.
Yeah, it's a weird move. I'd be careful to read too much into. I mean, look, I'm not going to defend Dion by any means, but I think looking into a college kid's tweets about stuff can be misleading at times.
Yeah,
I'd like to get a little bit more information on that before I judge, but yeah, that'd be fucked up for sure.
I'd like to overreact immediately, and then we'll kind of see afterwards.
All right, the pick is in for the Titans. Do you think this is Levis?
It would have to be, and this isn't even a bad spot for it.
Yeah, this is. I wouldn't be surprised here. What if it was Hendon Hooker, hometown kid? Not that he's from there, but Tennessee.
I mean, it's probably a little.
I have in my little pool that I'm in. I have Hendon Hooker going 20th to the Seahawks.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't. Again, like the team needs part of it is just like so far beyond me because I don't give a shit about especially the Seahawks. Like Hooker being that high would be a shock. Like we're also a year removed from the fact that Malik Willis was supposed to be like a huge get.
Oh my God! Yeah, like the NFL media is basically saying that they've given up on him already, which is that's tough after year 1.
Yeah, very true. Anyway, yeah, so that's what's been going on with the stuff in Colorado. What else we got? Did you see today that the College World Playoff released a version of what the 2024 playoff would look like. Now, this is when they expand to 12 teams. They released a version of what the playoff would look like from last year's teams. It's a little bit different, obviously. I think we can get a picture of it. I'll see if I can.
I think
grab
Florida
one.
State would have been in it.
Would they?
I think so. I think yeah. They were saying like by the end of the year, maybe they were, because I think they were ranked inside the top 10, which seems kind of insane. But
I can find it.
all right, so this pick is in. You're actually ahead of me. Are you streaming?
I have Comcast.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't get it, bro.
Yeah, no, you're right. I wouldn't. Well, I'm gonna have to mute, and they made the pick, I guess. All right, I don't want you to blow it for me, so I'm gonna.
I'll mute
while they
myself.
pick. Okay, that's fine. Lost the final 7 games of 2022 to the Titans there. Daniel Jeremiah's best available. Peter Skoronski, Dalton Kincaid. Christian Gonzalez has had a little bit of a fall here. I thought he was going to be up there. Nolan Smith still on the board. Jackson Smith, the wide receiver crop's pretty weak this year.
I don't see how this could be anybody but Levis.
I mean, they've got probably a lot of needs if they lost 7 in a row to end the year. But yeah, Tannehill's not going to be the long-term guy. And if you already think Malik Willis isn't, then dude, I mean, Levis is just, we'll see. Rappaport said that he was going to have a fall if he didn't get picked by the Colts. So we'll see. Malik Willis, yards per game allowed in 2022. So they were last in pass yards allowed per game. Or no, passing yards.
Yeah, well, I guess because they lost AJ Brown.
Yeah. Treylon Burks they drafted last year, but he was injured a lot. And then Malik Willis can't get the ball downfield. Maybe it is Levis.
The receiver from Ohio State is not a bad pick, I feel like, here.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's their number 1? Who's Tennessee's number 1? Receiver. Burks, yeah. Ugh. All right, selection's in. You mute yourself. All right. All right, a little Skoronski action. It's never sexy to pick a tackle, but it's needed for pretty much every team every year.
Right? I don't.
When is Dan the producer coming on?
So apparently he's doing something with 680.
He said he'd be here in 15 minutes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I mean, so let's kind of reassess the board here.
Yeah, pull that up.
Because where's Levis? Where's Levis going to go at this point?
All right, so you tell me who needs what.
Oh, dude, I don't fucking know that.
Oh, so Dan will be done at 15th pick. All right, let me send this to.
All right, so the Texans they traded this pick, so Detroit's next. Detroit. Man, this draft is not going at all what I thought it would. It's good. I like the surprises.
That's nuts. All right, so the Lions are at 12.
Peter Skoronski. What a name. I think he'd be on the Patriots with that name.
For real.
All All right. Chris, do you know Peter Skoronski's broad jump numbers?
They've got to be legit.
Offhand?
No, I don't offhand by any means.
I put him to the Patriots in my mock draft. Just felt too familiar. Old Skoronski.
Okay, so you've got.
Look at Levis. Levis looks shook in the green room.
I mean, like, with good reason, but like, and I hate that's like the worst part for these kids, right? Like that part sucks.
I know. I do feel bad. I always feel bad. Like, damn, like.
My buddy had 4 zeros in a row. He hit back to back. So he's remember that?
Oh yeah.
All right, pick is in for Detroit. It's
Pick is in for Detroit.
Christian Gonzalez.
I'm just gonna go on like what feels like a name that we playing for the Lions, and Lucas Van Ness feels a very
Holy
Lions.
shit.
What?
Jahmyr Gibbs at 12.
Jahmyr Gibbs. Whoa, dude. So what? Oh well, didn't they lose Jamal Williams? I mean, yeah, but they got Swift. Yeah, what?
So there was a lot of people saying that there was no way he was going to last past the first round, but I thought he was going to be late, and it would be to somebody like Dallas. That is
holy shit, Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, seriously, they could have really traded back. That seems like a crazy pick. But they're probably another team that just goes best player available.
Is he best player available? I mean, even as a
yeah, he's probably not. He's probably not best player available. You're right. Oh my god, yeah, they have the 18th pick. Holy shit. Maybe they're gonna trade DeAndre Swift.
I mean, that is.
My god.
I love Jahmyr Gibbs. That's a very surprising pick.
That's a shocking pick. My god. Did anyone have him anywhere close to that?
No, I don't think so. That is, I mean.
Wow, that's a shocker. Holy, that's crazy. All right, so the Packers are up. I got Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Packers.
If they draft a receiver in the first round, the year they get rid of Aaron Rodgers, I will be like, that would just be the ultimate.
It'll be the best. It'll be the best.
Side note, did you see the comment that was made from obviously Zach Wilson, who was in New York? He's like, I'm going to make that guy's life hell. Talking about whatever veteran QB they were going to bring in, ends up being Aaron Rodgers. And then they brought that up in Aaron Rodgers' initial like press conference. And he was like, he's going to make my life hell on the field. I'm going to make his life heaven off. Which I don't.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Questions. What that means?
No, I mean, look. I know what he was trying to say, but this is a weird thing to say.
What was he trying to say?
He's trying to say because Zach Wilson gets so much off the field attention, like Aaron Rodgers, like that's all anybody ever talks about on ESPN.
This is why you're on the pod, because you're so much smarter than I am.
What did you think he meant?
I didn't know. But like, and also the picture they posted with like that quote was like pretty suspect.
Yeah, no, it was. Especially in the like taken out of context.
Yeah, which I love. Okay, so we've got Philip Dukes coming on. Now that is the 6th player taken for the SEC. Still no one from the ACC or Pac-12, which isn't like a huge difference, but
well, that's the clear pecking order, and I mean, we're seeing kind of the clear pecking order of the power of the conferences. Pac-12 and ACC are probably the worst of the 5. What time is the guest coming on?
He said he'd be ready in like 8 minutes.
I'm probably gonna have to jump when he comes on.
Why? Okay, that's fine. Okay. What is going on with the Jonas Brothers? Are they performing or something?
Jonas Brothers.
There's a lot in the chat here talking about the Jonas Brothers. Also, like we said, very loose show here. Throw out any questions, whatnot.
My buddy just called me while we were sitting here doing this, and I didn't answer, obviously. Texted him and said, I'm recording. And he says, and I quote, tell Marler I said what up, never met him, tell him anyway.
Hello,
So there you
sir.
go. I'm not even going to tell you his name.
Do it. I'm going to find out where he lives. I don't know. I said that. Hold on. Wait, you can send. I don't remember this fucking password. I've got too many passwords.
What do you need me to do?
I need you to send this.
The link to this
Yes.
room?
Yeah.
To who?
And I'll send you to Dukes.
What's his email?
I'm about to send it to
Don't
you.
say it. Don't say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
No, nobody docks my buddies. All
So
right.
my friend Maria, the one I actually briefly mentioned earlier, Maria Vitale, her husband is the one that puts, like, his company is the one that puts on those concerts at, like, the one that's going on here. She's there now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
That's how you went to the championship game?
Every time. So shout out to her.
All right, I just emailed it to him.
Okay. All right, we've got.
So let him know that it's going to be an email if he doesn't. All right, the pick is in. Huh? Oh, that'd be crazy. Packers taking Levis. All right, I'm going to watch this pick. I'll be right back.
Who?
Yes. All right,
So
Lucas
Van Ness is the
Van
next
Ness.
pick.
That also seems like a Patriots name. But
So Big Ten, by the way, keeping wait, hold on. Keeping pace with the SEC in the first round, which is pretty surprising. No,
yeah, God, I'm still so shocked by that damn Jahmyr Gibbs pick.
Yeah, that's nuts. That is
Did not
honestly,
see
like,
that coming.
You brought it up. You said, "Is anyone? Did anyone have that, like, even like remotely close as him going that high?" And I think the answer is like emphatic no.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't even have him in the first round. Wow.
So Van Ness is the DN from Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez. Okay, here you go. So now the Patriots are up.
Yep. That would have been like a Patriots pick.
I would be shocked, like, if they took Levis. But you've heard a bunch of rumors about how Mac Jones is not the guy anymore. This makes sense for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, this does. You're right.
Because they had, they had zero. I keep forgetting that Matt Patricia was the OC last year, which is fucking absurd considering he was the DC forever.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
Super weird. But like getting any sort of actual weapon.
Oh, the Steelers traded up.
So they've been linked to Brian Branch a lot. I don't think I think that's too early to take him though.
No, yeah. I would not. I don't think that'll be Brian Branch. Wow. Because the Steelers traded up. DB?
Gonzalez?
Tackle, you think? Maybe a DB because that Gonzalez. Wow. This trade's been kind of crazy. I mean, this draft. Hmm.
Yeah, Nolan Smith also.
Oh yeah, Nolan Smith's still on the board. I would have been disappointed, and like nothing against Nolan Smith. I know he's like a great player and leader. I would have been against the Falcons taking him.
I wouldn't have. Also, what is going on with Keely Ringo? Did I miss something completely?
He's fallen out of favor, I think, a lot. I've only seen one mock draft with him in the first round.
ABC's doing the Jonas Brothers. That is incredible.
Joe Bro?
They traded this.
Najee? I don't think we've taken enough time to appreciate the name Najee. That's a great name.
Now, listen, if you are somebody that is like thinking of like a name for a newborn,
Why not Najee?
two options here. I'll give you one for Bama and Georgia. Najee, Najeigh. Kirby, Kirbeigh would be awesome.
And Kirby would be a girl too.
Yeah, that's true. Also, Ringo's in the 40s day too. That is from our good buddy Josh Hancher, who is also going to join us later, I think. So anyway, so they got that's like the Patriots went to 17 and a fourth rounder.
Is that what they traded, a fourth rounder?
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's got to be Christian Gonzalez. I think it'd be pretty cool if they drafted Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, from Penn State.
Joey Porter? Yeah, you wouldn't have to trade up for him, I wouldn't think. Yeah. Yeah, what a weird it's been a weird draft.
Yeah. The trading up and down has been the crazy thing for me. Like that is like
Yeah.
like
yeah,
this,
the
but...
Arizona like totally shaking it up.
Interesting.
Man, the Texans getting Stroud and Will Anderson is a strong move.
Love the fact
that Ryans.
Yeah. I love the fact they got Stroud. Also, shout out to hold on. Pick is in.
We got guesses in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Steelers selection. I'm gonna go Christian Gonzalez. That's my guess.
Broderick Jones, UGA.
Broderick Jones, yeah, the tackle.
So also Vegas real quick. And we do have our guest in the chat here, or in the waiting room. So shout out to Vegas because they had his line set at 14.5 of where he would land. So the
That's
Steelers
crazy.
Get him.
I had him for the next pick, so that's some points for me in the chat. All right, Marler, it's been real. I'm gonna let the guest in, and I'm gonna spend some time here with my family.
All right, dude. We'll talk to you soon.
Good to see you, buddy.
You too, bud. All right, perfect.
Yo.
What's up, dude? We're live right now, so you are also phenomenal hat. You just throw off your headphones in disgust. We are now joined by a special guest, my boy Philip Dukes from Auburn 247. Just had his first national piece a couple weeks ago, right? Like last time we had you on.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was awesome. And then we had nothing but like a lot of compliments come from that show. Now, granted, it was all Auburn fans, and you got to take that with a grain. But I did love the fact that we were able to get you back on. It's been a very weird first round. I know you are an Atlanta guy. You have tons of content to promote. I think also like the you do like a good job of mixing in obviously stuff with Auburn like we talked about, but like also a lot of Atlanta-based content. Big day for Atlanta sports right now because we've got the NFL draft and then we also have them playing or the Hawks and season game 6. So how you doing? Fill us in. What's going on? Let me catch my breath.
I'm good, man. I'm excited. The Falcons drafted Bijan Robinson. I'm excited about that. I would have been way more excited if they drafted Jalen Carter, but he didn't make it through the Falcon filter. And with all of the championships that the Falcons have won, you would think that that people would follow their lead, and teams who never won anything like the Eagles would no way possibly draft a guy in their backyard like Jalen Carter. So salute to the Falcons for just upholding the standard of greatness that we have in Atlanta for them.
I hate everything you're saying right now because of how accurate it is. Because that's been a whole thing forever. Like the Falcons just refuse to take Georgia players, and I've never understood why. We joke around constantly about how their first overall pick seems like every year it's like some directional school from like the Pacific Northwest, and it's always a defensive back or some shit. Bijan, like I'm not super thrilled with taking a back that high. I don't hate it. I just don't think it's like anything.
When they took, so the Falcons' last 3 drafts of the cutting edge Arthur Smith era have been a tight end at number 4.
Highest ever.
Possession receiver.
Number
Top 10 at 8. And 8 again, you know what we're going to do? Fuck positional value. We're going with a running back. Suck it.
I mean, like, yeah.
79.
Who do you think was worse? Do you think it was like because the Jahmyr Gibbs thing is far more shocking?
Oh my God.
What do you think?
They got the same exact guy already there.
Right. I don't.
What's the Spider-Man mean? When he gets there, it's gonna be DeAndre Swift. He'll be like, hey,
I do
what?
like
And I thought about it. Like, even with the Falcons drafting Bijan Robinson, it gives me that same and while they already have a pretty decently established guy who ran for 1,000 yards last year, it gives me the same. The only silver lining is that the Rams kind of did the same thing when they drafted Gurley at 10, when they already had Trey Mason coming off a 900-yard season as a rookie. So I'm like, maybe they saw that much of a difference between the two, because at the time I was thinking like, damn, the Rams could have got somebody else. But Gurley became an MVP. They set up the whole offense around him. And I think that's similar to what Arthur Smith wants to do. So I'm not totally in shambles about it, but I'm just still kind of weirded out by the fact that they just refuse to draft Georgia players.
I think like I totally understand the fact that a lot of people are super high on Bijan Robinson. He's probably an upgrade from the rookie you had a year ago. Fine.
Right.
But it's still shocking because like you have what I think a lot of people consider the best player in the draft overall, and it's a backyard product. Because for a while there, we were talking about like, all right, will they reach for Nolan Smith? Is that somebody they could take? And I would have loved that pick. Right. And they obviously don't. But like, I don't know, man. I get so tired of it. I know that not everyone here's a Falcons fan, so it's not everyone's cup of tea or what they necessarily care about. I just was like, just once I wish that they would. I mean, I don't know. I was going to say I wish once they would make a pick that we all would actually like, but I don't even know if that's possible in this day and age of just like social media and how we all just like everyone's mad about everything.
Right.
I don't know.
But okay, the majority, right? I mean, imagine how happy everybody would have been in Atlanta if you drafted Jalen Carter. Like, for a team that has the largest disparity in sacks between them and the next team at the bottom of the NFL in the past 2 years, I think they're 23 sacks behind, or 20-something sacks behind the next worst team in the last 2 years.
Right.
You would think that you would want to set somebody up. So if you're going to go from an interior pass rush type deal where you can get Grady Jarrett some more one-on-ones, you got a guy, Calais Campbell, who could have mentored Jalen, right? So it seems like the perfect fit. I literally had a tweet loaded up. The Falcons are about face. The Falcons are finally, and they're like, Bijan Robinson. shit.
But that's like also where like most of the where Vegas had their money. All right, so the Jets are celebrating a lot. Also, the Jets flying a Ukraine flag, huh?
Oh wow.
This is ridiculous. Not about the Ukraine necessarily, or I don't fucking know. I just like seems like an odd move. Maybe the Jets are just flamed. This is the most like this is like the least aesthetically pleasing draft room. Do you remember a couple years ago when everyone had to draft from the house and they were showing like they had I think the guy from Cincinnati, because he was like the brand new head coach from Cincinnati. He's still there obviously now, but like he was set up in like an apartment complex, like rec room. It was like an extra room.
Right. And then like you got like Cliff Kingsbury and his like super tech mansion like Bruce Wayne, right?
Yeah, right. They had it was who's the guy that went to USC? It was Cliff Kingsbury. He was just like feet up, just relaxed. I think because all the people on the West Coast, it was like very clear that like they were living much better lives than everyone back on the East Coast, even though it was like in lockdown. Pete Carroll had like a charcuterie board out or some shit. All right, while we got you, we're gonna I got a couple of questions for you because we're gonna like obviously Levis still hasn't gone. Sorry, the dog is losing its mind. You are inherently an Auburn guy. Give us the latest on Auburn with the transfer portal, and especially are they like with quarterback? Because as you saw from the other school in state today, there's a very slim pickings when it comes to the quarterback position.
So from what I hear, okay, just to break that down. So the guy from Notre Dame, I forget his name, Tyler or something. He transfers with a no contact designation, which is the weirdest thing ever, which lets you know that he already knows where he's going to school. He had a no contact designation, right? So clearly there was a little bit of home cooking and some backroom conversations going on. So from what I'm hearing, Hugh Freeze at Auburn is adamant about even watching guys who aren't already in the portal. So if you're not in the portal, like it's not like, hey, we think we may be able to get this guy, or now he's not even dealing with it. He's not allowing anybody else to get close to it. He's not. There was this big rumor about the kid from NC State, MJ Morris, who I know pretty well, going to Auburn. He hadn't not one conversation with anybody at Auburn, and they're saying, oh yeah, he's probably going to Auburn, and it was a big deal. And Holt reports it, and or he didn't report it. He said, look out for this guy. So of course the Auburn mob just goes crazy, and they're tweeting the guy. So his dad, this is a true story. His dad, Dr. Morris. What's up, Dr. Morris? Dr. Morris, who's an administrator in South Fulton, he hits me up and says, Dukes, did you say that MJ was going to Auburn? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, we're getting all these people tweeting at us and such and such, such and such. So eventually I have a conversation with a source close to the staff, and I'm like, was there ever any interest in MJ? And they're like, man, Hugh Freeze and Montgomery, they won't even watch film on a guy who's not in the portal. So that's kind of lets you know what's going on at Auburn right now. Like they are really trying to do things by the book, and which I can understand with the checkered past of Hugh Freeze, right? So trying to get involved with any of the tampering type stuff. But as far as the court, like it's slim pickings. They're not gonna take any guy. If I had to bet my money, they would probably be waiting on somebody to graduate in the next few weeks and jump in the portal as a graduate transfer. From what I hear, the quarterback situation at Auburn, they believe they have multiple guys who do one thing well. So you got a guy who passes well, you got a guy who runs well, but you don't have a guy who can do both. And I think that's what they'll be looking for a transfer. So as far as any other positions, they do have a couple of wide receivers on the board that I think that now Auburn has only offered 7 guys in the portal, like 3 offensive linemen, 2 wide receivers, a linebacker, and maybe a linebacker and a defensive lineman jack. So yeah, I mean, and it was a weak portal. No disrespect to any of the guys who jumped in the springtime, but it just wasn't the depth that people were looking for in the transfer portal. So yeah, that's basically where Auburn is in the second transfer portal in a nutshell.
like, I mean, that's super in depth, so I appreciate that. Kind of surprised, not because of them like trying to play it by the book, which is a smart move. I don't think, I joke around about this all the time. I don't know if there are any rules to play by anymore. Like, I really don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if things are, like, what kind of rules are like, you would be in violation of anyway. So the pick that was just made, by the way, from the Jets traded up to get, which I don't know how many trades like we've had in the first round. It seems like a ton.
Like 6 at least.
And like pretty aggressive for the most part for most of them. A kid from Iowa State, linebacker, becomes the first overall linebacker taken, which is surprising. Not like an outside edge guy like Nolan Smith, that wouldn't count, or Anderson. It was the kid from, why don't they showing his name? Kid from Iowa State. It was rumored that there wasn't going to be a linebacker taken in the first round at all. And if the first guy taken was probably going to be Drew Sanders from Arkansas. So kind of interesting there. Right. Will McDonald, the fourth, 15th overall, Iowa State. So just, again, like I feel like a lot of shocking things. I haven't seen him in any mock drafts in the first round.
First thing I did at pick 3, when the Texans traded up to get Will Anderson, I said, everybody just throw your mock draft away. And at this point, I feel like me and you. So if anybody from Disney, ESPN is listening, I know you got a couple of guys. Everybody, they have a little bit more notoriety. But I guarantee you that me and the guy sitting across from me, Chris Marler, could do the exact same job that Mel Kiper and Todd McShay are doing. Book it, and we'd be way cheaper and way happier to do it. Absolutely.
Now, listen, I don't like you throwing me in there with that, especially because the cheap part. I mean, I'm not, don't speak for my money right now.
Cheaper.
It's also fair.
Look, have you seen Mel Kiper's hair?
It's fantastic.
Do you know how much that shit costs?
First off, I love the way you phrase that, because that is like, his hair is like the epitome of what you would see from like a mob wife in like Goodfellas. It's like, do you have any idea how much? Like that's it. Like if he showed up in like a mink coat every year, I wouldn't be surprised. Also, it's kind of crazy because this guy, he's got one of the best jobs, I think, in sports. It's like doing the draft is a ton of work, right? It's a ton of work. I always say these guys and Joe Lunardi have like the funniest jobs, because as soon as this is done, they have to start doing like the prep for next year, and you'll see mock drafts already for the following year. Same with Joe Lunardi, where it's like, all right, here's the tournament's done. Here's our way too early like list of people who are on the bubble for next year's NCAA tournament. You're like, bro, it's fucking March. Like it's April. Like, what are we doing right now?
And guess what? You can be. It's like the half-ass SAT. Like you can be wrong and still get good points.
That's the best part.
Great.
No one's ever even kept track of how accurate their stats are, like ever. If I say, like, I think last year I said something about how, like, well, I'm not going to out myself on that. I think I said LSU was going to finish last in the West, behind Auburn, which was bad. But like, yeah, I deserve to be ridiculed for that. These guys, like you, are free from any kind of numbers. It's incredible. It's an incredible job.
Right. Hey, it's not a science. We're not exact. And if they're wrong, they'll talk shit to you and make you feel bad for calling them out for them being wrong. I want that job so bad. The only other job I want is Stephen A. Smith's job. Oh my God.
You mean just yelling?
Hey, hold on, let me get my hairline right. Hey,
you're not going to get the hairline right. That's going to take way more effort than that.
I'm joking, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I apologize. This is like the most laid back episode we've ever had, which is saying a lot. Also, yeah, Mel Kiper doesn't age. Mel Kiper has also been roughly 63 years old since 1995, which is an incredible feat in and of itself.
He is 1,000% the sports media version of Morgan Freeman. There has never been a teenage picture of Mel Kiper. He was born 8 years old.
Mel Kiper, that's pretty good. Morgan Freeman has, honestly, even in like Shawshank, which is like the first thing I think I remember seeing him in, if you told me that Morgan Freeman was 130, I would 1,000% believe it. All right, we're gonna get out of here in a second because we've got hold on, what is happening here? Hold on one second. We actually have our producer stopping in as well. Probably talk a little bit more of the Atlanta stuff. So
Ask him if he's hiring.
I don't know if we're allowed. I'm not going to say that word on this pod. Why is Jeff calling me? All right, I just sent him the link. So we'll wrap up here after that as well. Thank you for joining us, by the way. So plug all of the things so I don't mess it up for one. But before you do, I want to remind everyone, if you are, and especially you, because I know you're in Atlanta, next Thursday, I am dusting off my old comedy boots. I don't have comedy boots. I don't know why I said that. I haven't done stand-up. I've only done stand-up like 3 times since like the breakup. And one of them was just me talking about the breakup. And it was like, it's apparently a good set, but I don't remember saying much. But I'm doing it next Thursday in Atlanta. I'll get more details from it, but would love to have all you guys come out. And then the next day will be my birthday. Real quick, the pick is in from Washington, doing what they always do. It's taking an SEC player, Emmanuel Forbes,
Oh, wow.
the cornerback from Mississippi State. Humble brag, I took an Uber from his second cousin today. So shout out to him. I mean, I'm assuming it was his second cousin. I was lying about a lot of stuff. He might have been lying about a lot of stuff.
It's always better that way.
Right? Okay, we got Dan joining us as well here. I'm going to keep you on. How do we? Hold on, Pepper. All right, producer Dan is in the house here. Dan, I don't know if you've ever met Philip Dukes.
I haven't. What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, Dan. Looks like a nice guy.
I try.
He's not.
My dog.
Traffic, dude. Cutthroat in traffic. No, okay. So Dan's joining us from
that part's true. About traffic is true. Yes.
I was mainly kidding, but I feel like I have been on the phone with you a few times when you've been in rush hour, and I'm the same way.
So you drive on I-75, it brings it out of you. What can I say?
Emmanuel Forbes just went at 16. Dan, we've been talking about all sorts of stuff. Emmanuel Forbes going and then showing it like one of his highlights as a pick 6 of Will Levis. The night just continues to get bad for Will Levis.
I'm telling you, man, it's the mayonnaise in the coffee. That's what it is. It's.
I mean, you're joking, but it honestly should be that. It should.
Yeah, it really should. Like that's.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Levis is the guy who's like. I think he scared a lot of people away just based on the fact he has a little bit of that Josh Rosen-ish persona a little bit, where it's like Zach Wilson-ish, like, hey, yeah, like I'm the shit, you know it, guess what? And you want that from certain people, but sometimes you can tell when it's authentic. And it seems a little manufactured sometimes. So it's like, all right, I'm going to eat a banana whole, like, because nobody else does that. But
yeah,
you get what I'm saying. So
I agree with that. All right, hold on. The Pats just picked Christian Gonzalez. I feel like that's
that's a good one.
That is right. Like that's the first Pac-12 player taken off the board.
Good point.
From a guy projected in the top 10 in a lot of mocks, I feel like that's a pretty good get.
He was consistent. He was consistent to be 8 to the Falcons for the longest time.
Absolutely.
Right. Who's up next year? We got like Detroit's Dan. So now that you're here, you're a big LSU guy. We were just talking about some of the stuff with the portal. We'll weigh in more on the stuff with Tyler Beckner. I've already alluded to the fact that I have one nice thing to say and then mainly bad things to say about it. Let's not kid ourselves. What do you, after leaving the and Duke, same question to you afterwards, but like, where do you have the SEC West power rankings as right now?
I mean, I understand that Bama fans are going to come at me and say, like, you're an LSU guy. That's the way you're going to feel. But, I mean, at least LSU has a quarterback. That's number one. I mean,
first off, Bama has 5 quarterbacks.
Well, they do. But, I mean, it's also, though, too, Tyler Buchner is not there if they feel like they've got something with Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson. I mean, let's be honest here. I love like how like there is, and I don't know if I'm creating this narrative or that this narrative exists, because I think it's twofold. Number one, seems like there's an inherent distrust in Nick Saban with anything offense, but also number two, that it's like because of that inherent distrust, like the thought is, oh, well, he's just bringing this guy in. It's like, when has Nick Saban ever shown you that he's just going to bring someone in on a whim? Like, he's obviously doing it with a purpose. And my thought is that probably after spring practice, they all looked around as a group and said, Simpson, do we got something? And they're kind of like, Milrow, do we got something? I mean, so Saban doesn't want to deal in uncertainty. So I think for that reason, that's why I have LSU in front of them. People are saying Texas A&M. Maybe this is a personal thing just because I think Jimbo's a clown. But, like, I just – until that guy kind of shows that he's got a clue, I'm not buying him.
Completely agree with that.
And, so, I mean, I guess, the battle for third. I mean, I've had people tell me that, don't be surprised if Auburn is able to maybe find something a little bit, I mean, I think, there's somebody to keep an eye on, in third. I mean, maybe Ole Miss as well. I think there's going to be a little bit of a drop off, just with everything that's happened at Mississippi State. I think that's going to take some time to be able to heal from. Arkansas, I mean, KJ's back, but I mean, who does he have around him?
Who does he have around him? You also lose your coordinators.
Yeah, I mean, no. And that can't be underscored, especially offense. I feel like defensively, you can be able to pick things up a lot faster than you can offensively. Like, you lose a coordinator, and I always love, these coaches who try to say, oh, it's still our system. They're running everything we do. Why? Like, I feel like, especially, in Dukes, you can probably agree with me on this or push back either. I feel like that, like, especially OCs, that's very much being an artist. Like, it's your own thing. Like, you've got to be able to paint your own picture. You can't have, oh, hey, I always love that. Oh, they learned our terminology and everything. Why? Like, why are they there if that's the case?
Right. Yeah, and I think Enos and Kendall Browse have a lot of differences. Enos is way more old school with a lot of things that he likes to do. Even though he does run the variation of some spread, I just think that the mentality in Arkansas from last year to this year on defense, from what I'm hearing, they simplified it a whole lot. Right, they're gonna just line guys up, let them fly around to the ball. But on offense, there's a lot more. And if you think about guys who are a little longer in the tooth, so to speak, when it comes to offense, there's a lot more to do. Like, if you hear about like what Josh Heupel does at Tennessee, it's the simplest offense in the SEC. And he just allows guys to be themselves. How many routes? I think what was the stat last year? Like 18% of the routes on the outside last year were option routes. They had an option to go do something else. So it allows players to play to their strengths. So when it comes down to it, to your point, I think offense is really, really difficult just to pick up from year to year unless you have something that's super simplified, and I don't think Arkansas has that.
And that's
also go ahead,
Dave. No, I was going to say, I mean, to your point too, Dukes, I mean, like, of the older guys, I mean, I remembered everybody talking about Jim Chaney when he took over at Georgia. Oh, all the experience he has. Offense is the wrong side of the football to be old on. Like, nobody wants to play for somebody that, no, we're going to run play action. Here's the I formation. Like, and not to say that like Dan Enos is going to do that or anything like that, but it's just like, usually it's the cool guys that are the guys that are able to, the Garrett Rileys and people like that, that are the ones that everybody wants to go play for.
Yeah, and I think it's and I think the main thing about it is the ability to communicate.
Yeah.
You could throw a playbook in front of a guy who's 19. Like, how do you get the most out of a 4-star who's fresh out of high school?
Right.
Do you sit down here and do you give him the history of the game, or do you say, hey, look, you got 3 reads right here. Make the right read and you're going to score.
Sure.
Celebrate when you get finished. I'm going to chest bump you. What? No brainer, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask you real quick, going off of that, where would you have here, hold on.
Dogs. 。
All where would you have like I don't disagree with you from like the Bama part, especially with the transfer portal part. I think that like when you have something along the lines of like what A&M had, I think you hit the nail on the head with the trust part of it, because I just don't see how you would trust it. I do think Mississippi State is a year away. I mean, I think it's a fair thing to say that A&M is probably, I mean, sorry, that LSU is like the team to beat. I mean, they're the defending division champs. Going to the Auburn thing that you kind of brought up and alluded to, because this is a nightmare scenario for me. But just imagine this, if you will. If Bama struggles, like a lot of people think they might, especially with the quarterback situation, they got to go to Jordan Hare at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do for that rivalry, and not just for what do you call it, for Auburn and Hugh Freeze in year one, but like what does that do for like the state of football in Alabama, like between both those schools, if he somehow beats Saban in year one?
Oh, I think it's huge. So we talked about Brian Hartson the last couple of years, and he definitely did not endear himself to high school coaches in the state of Alabama. So there were multiple articles out about him not going and him not talking to guys, him being unpersonable to people. You got the total opposite in Hugh Freeze, who has this Southern Baptist preacher deal about him. Where it's like, this is my redemption story. Yes, I like hoes, but I don't like them no more. And now, he goes around and, and people relate to it, because who don't like bitches? You feel me? So
yeah,
excuse me. Hey man, they're not gonna let me get no interviews at Auburn.
No, you're in huge trouble now. Hold on, we got to pick in from Detroit. Jack Campbell from Iowa.
So who would have had two Iowa guys off the board
that aren't tight ends?
Yeah,
Jack Campbell. Wow.
Yeah, he's a linebacker. So that means now you have. He won the Butkus Award, which is news to me. Also won the William Campbell Trophy, which is for the biggest nerd. It's the academic Heisman, I guess. 6'4.5", 250. I mean, if there was anything to write home about with that team a year ago, it was definitely defense.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised to see two of these guys. Like again, we didn't think there was going to be any first round. First round linebackers taken, which is kind of crazy in and of itself. But yeah, so kind of a big surprise there. I feel like.
Yeah, and then the top two are still there. Like it was like Drew Sanders and Trenton Simpson. So both guys who fly around, the three down type linebacker type guys, right? That can run a little bit. One can rush the passer, and the other one's great in coverage. So maybe there's a shift in ideology when it comes to defense in the NFL going into the next year.
I mean, you do see everything being more. I think like leaned heavy. I was surprised. I heard a quote the other day about from some, I forgot which, I think it's from KC, and they were talking about how they're constantly looking at college teams to model their offense after now, which I thought was very, very surprising.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you're definitely seeing college. You're definitely seeing college concepts go to the pros. I mean, you deal to some variation in some schemes, see a little bit of RPO, but I definitely say that, the pro style is dead. Like that's just, it's just who are you fooling if it's, hey, we're going to, all right, let's 2 tight ends, all of this. And it's just like,
yeah.
It's just, it's.
Yeah, I think the college game is. I think colleges are getting really good at exploiting weaknesses and tendencies.
Yeah.
So it's like, and being able to be multiple from the same set. I think that's like the key where we go from college to pro style. Like pro style offense to me means easy to read keys, but you just can't stop it because we're better.
Right.
And I think that's the reason why, as the parity starts to come into the NFL with more teams having talent up and down the roster, you got to have some type of multiplicity when it comes to your offensive set. So I think having the multiple options that you get in a lot of college offenses is the reason why NFL teams are saying, let's get a college guy.
It's just like you said about, what Heupel's doing. I mean, especially too with the receivers. I mean, seeing that a lot.
Right.
Marlo, are you frozen or what's happening here?
I am. I'm frozen. And we got visitors. So y'all keep it going. Sorry.
Marler's all flustered.
So LSU, my man, is Mason Smith back?
He is.
Okay,
he came
good.
back. He came back during the spring practice. I don't know. I don't know if he played in the spring game, which you know as well as anybody. I mean, spring games.
Right.
I mean, it's. I almost. The funny thing is like there's a reason why Hugh said what he said about the spring game is because for the most part, coaches hate him. I mean,
right.
coaches would much rather you just have a straight up scrimmage, and it's not all the goofiness that is spring games. That's why some of them just decide, let's make a mockery of this damn thing. Let's have Archie Griffin come back out and run a touchdown. Let's have it all. Imagine dressing as a pirate.
Did Butte go?
He did. Yeah, he did. Well, are you talking about in the draft?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he entered. I mean, there's thought now maybe mid to late day 2. He didn't test very well. Yeah, he didn't run very well. So I mean, I think he's going to be a heck of a receiver. I mean, he was a hell of a talent when he was at LSU. He was pretty much the only offensive talent they had for some time.
Right. Who do you think is the number? Who's getting the number 7 this year?
I don't think it's going to be Harold.
What?
I mean, I would think he should. I just don't know if a true sophomore gets number 7. Maybe Malik Neighbors. Neighbors, I could see getting number 7.
Yeah, I feel like he's earned it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could see him getting 7. 18. I'm trying to think who gets 18. Maybe Harold would get 18. I could see that's a possibility.
That would make sense.
Absolute freak, though.
The original 18's my guy, Jacob Hester.
Yeah.
That's the original 1-8 right there.
No, for sure.
All right, so I'm completely frozen. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, you're good. Oh, here we're seeing you. Yeah, you're good.
No, I didn't have too much to add to that mainly because I don't care about those numbers or your program, Dan, to be honest. I do love Hester, though.
All right, you're like the party there.
I do love Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge is awesome. Dukes, have you been to Baton Rouge?
Not at all.
Really?
Never. I gotta go.
I've been told that it would be much different if I went for a Bama game, but it would be worth it to me. All right. While I got both of you here, we talked about this a little bit earlier with Tyler, but it was also in like the height of all the things going on with the draft. Thoughts on everything going on with Deion right now? With like you have 33 guys you've brought in from the portal. You've lost 60. Mass exodus that like right after the spring game. That part I didn't think was a huge deal. Like I saw one person made a comment the other day about this I think it was on Twitter, but it was like, this would be normal anywhere else, but everything that Deion does is loud. And maybe that's the only reason why it's become like a big deal. Yeah. Like how fair of a statement is that? How accurate is that? What do you guys think?
Oh, super accurate. Like, so I was talking about this yesterday. There's a responsibility that comes with the spotlight. And when you want the spotlight and you have the spotlight, that means that you're willing to show your closet, you're willing to show everything. Like you just can't show the living room, you got to show the closet. So for the past, however long it's been since he's been at Colorado, it's been sunshine and roses and we coming and let's go and all this good shit, right? And then after that, it's kind of like, shit. There are real issues that come along with D1 football, and one of them being that when guys jump in the portal, they want their film.
Yeah.
Most coaches do not give you your film once you're already in the portal, especially practice film. And 9 times out of 10, if all you have is practice film, that means that you're not that type of guy.
Yeah.
So unless you have those type of relationships previously or prior, most guys jump in the portal knowing they have somewhere to go. And then they
Right.
get out there and they find out they don't. Right. So I think it's more of a I think the press he's getting and how these tweets from these two guys are saying, well, he won't let us have our film. And he didn't mention they called him the coach from Colorado, which was kind of cool, right? But like the one time nobody wants to mention Dion. And but yeah, I don't think he's wrong. I think he could help them out, right? But at the same time, I've got actually know a kid who's from here, went to Langston Hughes with all the kids who got recruited last year, 2 years ago. He's in the portal. He's a cornerback in the portal from Colorado, and he's got all of his film. But he knew he was going in the portal already, so he screen recorded all of his stuff, and he's sending it out like a sex tape. Like, hey, look at me perform. And anybody who will watch, he'll do it. So, you know,
we're not going to mention sex tapes on this pod because that's how Twitter accounts get shut down forever.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, also fair. No, we kind of talked about earlier. This is again wild that Levis is now they're shooting him or showing pictures of Levis in like the green room. 1.1% chance he would be available at the by pick 20. We are now at pick 20. I don't know where they got those numbers from or how that would even happen, but it's just shocking to me. Here's a question for you, and we'll sign off after this because I know it's getting late and all that kind of stuff, and I've got to finish this Tyler Buckner deep dive, Dan, that you're gonna love. So Pepper stop. How big of a missed opportunity? I don't want to say a hit, but missed opportunity is this like publicity wise for a program like Kentucky and a coach like Mike Leach? Not Mike Leach. I'm sorry. Mark Stoops. My bad.
Yeah. I mean, I never really bought into the hype that Levis was going to be, a top 10 pick, first quarterback taken, like anything close to that. Like I thought if anything, he was a little bit of a wild card. It was, if he's there, like, Seattle right here, it wouldn't surprise me maybe, I mean, I know that they just gave the extension to Geno, but I mean, okay. I mean, that hasn't stopped the team from taking a quarterback in the first round before. So, maybe that's a possibility. I mean, I don't see the Chargers. Obviously, I think they're going to get something done with Herbert. But I mean, I don't know. I always kind of looked at him as being a little bit of a wild card. And I know that everybody's got with him and Richardson, the Josh Allen effect. Josh Allen was this way in college, and look how he is now. And I think a huge part of that too is where you go. I think that's a big factor. And just like kind of add on to what Duke said about Dion is unconventional. Like all of this we've never seen a guy like Dion take over a major Power 5 program. I mean, what happens with most coaches? Most coaches, we all hear it almost to the fact where, we roll our eyes so much we almost go blind. They pay their dues. And, very rarely do you see a guy who is able to rise as fast as Dion was able to, because correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't even think he was the head coach at Trinity Christian in Addison. He was like a volunteer helping him out. And then, of course, went to Jackson and is now here as, Seattle Seahawks girl. I might be a Seahawks fan now. Did y'all not see the blonde for the Seahawks? Wow. I mean, excuse me. I didn't mean to get distracted. I apologize.
I'm sorry.
But no, I mean, look, it's all whenever you have somebody like I mentioned this in a live I did earlier, is sometimes going to work, I will watch Ric Flair promos. Not like to pump me up, but just to like kind of like put myself in a good mood that day.
Yeah.
And what was Ric Flair about? Ric Flair was about, I'm custom made. I've got it all. You can be me for $10,000, kids. Like all of these things. And like it's with Dion, it's going to be, you're talking about Colorado football. You haven't talked about Colorado football. He can take these small things too of, kids telling them, or him telling kids, your time is done here. College coaches across the country tell kids, hey, look, it's best for you to move on. They do it all the time. And then people, these terrible college coaches. It's like, no, you got a roster. And when you're getting paid, say conservatively $5.5 million a year, or in Jimbo's case, $9.5 million a year to not know anything. Then, did I say that out loud? I apologize.
You've been itching for the Jimbo slander. I love it.
No. Well, I guess now I'm not asking a Texags question, but no, I mean, it's just, your whole thing is, a buddy of mine gave me a good piece of advice once. He said, don't ever underestimate a man when he has got a job that's on the line. And Deion is in his first season, and he's not in danger of losing his job, but he realizes that, look, you get about 3 years to be able to get this thing going in the right direction. And with as much publicity as he brings to his program, if he doesn't necessarily show any real type of progression going forward, then Deion or not, they're going to be looking to move on and go somewhere else. But I do think that Colorado absolutely made the right move because, look, I mean, Dukes, and Marler, we all grew up on Colorado football. Like, we remember Gary Barnett, and we remember Rick Neuheisel and Bill McCartney, and those teams that were Colorado Buffalo football. Right. They haven't been that in a long time.
I will say, and I don't want to age myself here, but I will. I remember where I was when you had the Hail Mary against Michigan, right?
Was that Westbrook?
Those Westbrook and Stewart, 94. And it was
it was Cordell.
I was coming home from a Bama Tulane barn burner. It was like a 20-0 game against Tulane, where Bama was like a top 3 team, but that was like acceptable back in like the 90s. Like, just a tough, hard fought win against a good Tulane team. No, but I remember like that, and then
our quarterback had a side part,
right? We had like the Friday after Thanksgiving, having that game against Nebraska. I always love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong about that with Deion. It'll be very interesting to see how it plays out, because the fact that Deion it'll be an interesting case study in. There's a lot of stuff I think that he'll get away with the media because he's Deion, and a lot of stuff that he won't, and it'll be brought to light that a lot of coaches do, like Dan said, because he's Deion. So it'll be just like a double-edged sword. Wrap it up here for a second. We got 6 minutes left in the Hawks game. They're up 113-110. You guys have both been great. I know. Here's something that's kind of interesting here. So we just saw Jackson Smith and Jigba go to the Seahawks. So they'll pair him up with DK Metcalf, which is awesome. But you have, I believe, we're at pick 21. So through 20 picks, and I'm missing one total, the SEC and the Big Ten are tied. Is the SEC in danger of not having the most first-round draft picks for the first time? I think 16 years or 15 years?
Yeah, I mean, I know they've had a good little run. I didn't know how long the streak was. Because you would think that Joey Porter Jr. goes somewhere. You would think, that's a name that could come off the board.
He was really like my favorite corner. Like, I love Witherspoon. I think Christian Gonzalez is really good. I love Joey Porter's game, and I like his daddy was like my favorite football player growing up too. Mm-hmm. Like the stump, like before Selly's got really, really retarded. Fucking Joey Porter had the craziest stump. Like, you remember that?
I do not remember that.
You don't remember the stump? He would kick the ground and oh my god!
Where did he play?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Steelers. He was on that. He was on. Was it Bettis' last? Was it Bettis' last team?
They ran a 3-4. They had him at one side. They had I think a young a baby. No, I don't even think it was James Harrison yet. They had Lamar Woodley.
Yeah, Woodley. That's
on
right.
On the other side, rushing the passer. Then they had James Ferrier.
Yeah.
James
Troy Polamalu.
Yeah.
Man, it's all on the same defense. Was it Casey Hampton? Maybe
I think Hampton was on that defensive line. Yeah.
Yeah, like on that, man, they were loaded, man. Like, and Porter had the coolest defensive celly in football. Period. Every time he got a sack, he would get up, kick the ground like he hated it, and it was just the coolest thing ever. So even since like but not to take too much away from Junior, man, Joey Porter is 6'2". He can run. He's a low 4.4 guy. He'll beat you up on the line. He plays good zone and he'll tackle. Like, he's really my favorite corner. So he's definitely going. Sorry, I had to interject because that's my guy.
This class with corners has been, I don't think I've ever seen a class with that kind of size. Like the wingspan, the height, like all that stuff. Real quick, you guys have obviously seen on what is it? With what's the guy's name? It's like Mike Hearn. He's a it's like a TikTok trend. Like, baby, don't hurt me. And it's like the bodybuilder, Mike Hearn. Anyway, some people know what I'm talking about. Probably our group of like 11 to 15-year-old TikTokers that love this shit.
My TikTok knowledge is pretty much all of the videos I get are smash burgers and like how to like make smash burgers or like weird, like, hey, watch this video and watch the alien behind the person. Yeah, I can't say that I'm into the TikTok influencer. All right. So we're to the stage of the draft where the guy that's left in the green room is doing some awkward dancing, and that's what Will Levis is now doing.
I knew he was gonna do some cringy. I told you, it's the cringe factor.
I don't get it.
So he's not going to the Chargers. They're picking up next. Anyway, the only reason I brought that up is there was a dude's like a bodybuilder, professional bodybuilder. They had him working out with James Harrison, and James Harrison was single, like one arm.
Oh yeah,
135, like
35. Yeah,
135. It was crazy. It was like a barbell too. You got one pick in.
I will never forget that pick six in the Super Bowl against Arizona. Yeah. Where it was just like somebody's going to bring him down, right? And you're like, no, okay, here he goes. And then you see out of nowhere, here comes Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, let's close it out here. Quentin Johnson just got taken by the Chargers. All
right,
nice pick.
Y'all plug everywhere where people can find you. Thank you so much again for joining us, both you Dukes and Dukes. I just realized I told you 10 minutes and you've been on here for like an hour, so thank you very much.
First of all, it was my fault. And secondly, I hope that you guys take that into consideration when you go back over everything I said tonight. First, look, I was here way too long.
That's very fair.
Secondly, I apologize. I was, Chris is my guy. I was trying to impress in front of company. So
don't even start. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. No, you were great as usual, man.
Apologize for nothing.
That's right. All right, Dan, let me I'll finish up some of this Tyler Buckner stuff. We'll have a recap of the draft at the end of this as well. And we'll see you guys very soon.